the ring's visitor. Ethan had only been living in the old wooden house on Willow Creek Road for a month, but already he felt the weight of the isolation pressing in. Far from the city, surrounded by thick, towering trees, the house seemed peaceful during the day, almost cozy. Birds sang, the sun filtered through the branches, and the wind whispered softly against the walls. But at night, the forest transformed. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the rooms. Every creaking floorboard sounded like footsteps, and the wind carried faint, unplaceable noises that made Ethan's skin crawl. He had moved in seeking quiet, hoping to rebuild some sense of peace after a painful breakup. What he hadn't expected was that silence itself could feel alive, pressing against the walls and filling the rooms with tension that made sleep impossible. To feel safer, Ethan had installed a Ring camera at the front door. He told himself it was just in case of animals or maybe a visitor, but deep down, he hoped it would be a tether to the outside world, a sense of control in a house that already seemed to breathe on its own. For the first 2 weeks, the camera served its purpose, or, more accurately, served no purpose at all. Notifications were mundane: a raccoon scuttling across the porch, a stray cat wandering into view, the occasional drift of leaves or branches brushing past the lens. The hum of normalcy lulled him into a false sense of security. Then came the third week. It was 3:14 a.m. when his phone suddenly chimed with a ring alert. But it wasn't the normal, soft digital tone. This alert was warped, stretched, and crackling with static, as if the sound had been dragged through water. Ethan bolted upright in bed, heart hammering. The glow of the phone illuminated his trembling hands as he swiped the notification. The live feed opened and his stomach dropped. Just inches from the lens, a woman was staring at the camera. Her hair was long, wet, and tangled, clinging to her pale, waxy face. Her neck was twisted at an impossible angle, the kind of tilt that should have been unbearable for any human. Her eyes were wide, unblinking, and seemed to pierce through the screen, directly into Ethan's room. She didn't move. She didn't blink. She just stared, as though waiting for him to react. For a moment, Ethan thought he was dreaming. Maybe sleep had warped reality again. But when he looked down at his phone, the image didn't vanish. It solidified, becoming horrifyingly clear. He could see the faint sheen of moisture on her skin, the jagged strands of hair plastered across her cheeks, and the eerie stillness of her body. He tried to swipe the feed closed, to shut his eyes to it, but his fingers froze. A primal, inexplicable fear rooted him to the bed. Then the camera flickered. Static rippled across the screen, distorting her face. And when it cleared, she was closer. Too close. Her forehead was pressed against the lens, flattening unnaturally. Her mouth gaped open wider than humanly possible, a void of darkness stretching into the camera. From the tiny speaker came a rasping, hollow voice, barely audible but chilling. "Let me in." Ethan's heart skipped. He almost dropped the phone. The feed immediately went black, and the house fell into a terrifying, suffocating silence. And then came the knock. Heavy, slow, deliberate. 1. Pause. 2. Pause. 3. Each one echoing across the walls of the house. Ethan froze, unable to move, unable to breathe. Another knock, louder this time. The door handle rattled gently. Whoever, or whatever, was outside was testing him, savoring the moment. With shaking hands, Ethan opened the app again, camera offline. No feed, no signal. The silence returned, but it was no longer comforting. It pressed against him, filling the room like thick fog. Then he heard it. A soft scraping along the siding. Someone was moving along the exterior walls, creeping closer to his bedroom, nails dragged against wood, slow, deliberate, searching. Another chime, motion detected. Back porch. Ethan tapped the alert with trembling fingers. The porch light flickered to life on his phone screen. There she was again, the same woman, standing several feet from the camera, illuminated by the pale porch light. Her limbs hung unnaturally long. Her hair fell like a curtain across her face. She lifted a hand slowly, mechanically, and waved. Not a friendly wave, a deliberate, eerie motion. Then she pointed, not at the camera, not at the porch, She pointed straight toward his bedroom, as if she could see inside him. Ethan's knees threatened to buckle. He stepped backward, phone in hand, pulse pounding. The feed flickered, static swallowed her figure, and when it returned, another alert had appeared. Motion detected. Living room. He froze. He didn't have a camera in the living room. He hadn't installed one. How could it detect motion there? Trembling, he opened the feed. The view came from a high corner of the ceiling, showing the furniture in the room. Sofa, TV, table, everything looked normal, and then she appeared. Out of nowhere, standing in the middle of the living room. Her head was twisted completely upside down, her hair dangling toward the floor. Her eyes were wide and glassy, unblinking. She began to move. Her movements were unnatural, limbs bent wrong, joints contorting as she walked. Step by step, she advanced toward the hallway that led directly to Ethan's bedroom. His phone slipped from his hands, landing on the carpet with a thud. He gasped, heart racing, lungs burning. The sound of slow, dragging footsteps filled the house, approaching the bedroom door. And then the doorknob rattled. Slowly, deliberately, the latch clicked. The door began to open. Panic threatened to overwhelm him. He had nowhere to run. He was trapped between his own terror and the darkness that seemed to pulse through the house. Then, suddenly, all the lights turned on. Living room, hallway, and porch lights blazed at once, harsh and brilliant. The woman was gone. The feeds returned to normal. The alerts stopped. Silence replaced the tension, but it felt different now. Safe, controlled. Trembling, Ethan picked up the phone and called the police. They arrived quickly, checked the entire house, and found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry, nothing at all. As they were leaving, Ethan noticed something wedged under the front door, a small, dirt-stained photograph. It was a family of 3, smiling at the camera, and behind them was the house itself. One of the women in the photo looked exactly like the figure he had seen. Written faintly on the back were the words, "You're safe now. Thank you for turning the lights back on." The officers explained that the family had lived there decades ago. The woman, named Sarah, had died tragically in a blackout, trapped in the dark of the house. Locals said her spirit lingered, unable to leave until someone helped her. Ethan felt a strange calm wash over him. He realized that somehow, by keeping the lights on, he had freed her. From that night on, Ethan installed brighter lights, repaired broken fixtures, and ensured no corner of the house remained in total darkness. He never saw her again, and the Ring camera alerts returned to mundane normalcy. But sometimes, late at night, he would stand on the porch and glance at the camera, a faint smile crossing his face, imagining Sarah watching from somewhere far away, finally at peace. For the first time since moving in, the house was quiet. Not oppressive quiet, not the silence that pressed down on your chest. This silence was gentle, protective, and for the first time in weeks, Ethan slept. And now, the quiet was comforting. More nightmares are waiting. Hit subscribe so you don't miss them.